weekly newspaper. You can pick it up in some of the best stores. If you're heading home, you're going south, Hannaford's on 28. It's the only traffic light in town. Take a left turn, grab a couple, and it has some great, he'll talk about it, but I moved up here and I met you at a church, at Alton Community Church, and you said you can, anytime you want to send an article, go ahead. And some friends in Maine, I think the Whitfords here was helping respond. Paula Sutton, who was a former state senator, state rep, she asked me if I would write an article once a month for a paper in Maine. I said, sure, so I send the same one. So I'm now a syndicated columnist, I guess. So this one...
That means you get $3 a month.
So this one, they gave me the front page, the Declaration of Independence and the men who signed it. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but one of my favorite founding fathers was John Adams. He wasn't perfect, but he went to Holland and borrowed money from the Dutch. That alone was enough, right? He was the man that was the motivator behind this. See, Thomas Jefferson was kind of reserved. He said, you're the guy for it. Nobody likes me.
Yeah.
He said, but July 2nd was the day they actually voted for independence. They worked it out, and then they gave us this 2 days later. But this is what, and there was some hesitancy. This is their death sentence. They weren't successful. And this is something that John Adams said. I used to memorize this, but I'm 62. My memory, my computer's full, I guess, at this point, so I can't retrieve as well. So he said this: sink or swim, live or die, survive or perish, I give my hand and heart for this vote. You and I indeed may rue it. We may not live to the time when this declaration shall be made good. We may die colonists, die slaves, die. It may be ignominiously and on the scaffold. Be it so, be it so. If it be the pleasure of heaven that my country shall require the poor offerings of my life, the victim shall be ready. But while I do live, let me have a country, or at least the hope of a country, and that of a free country. Sir, before God, I believe the hour has come. My judgment approves the measure, and my whole heart is in it. All that I have and all that I am and all that I hope in this life, I am now ready here to stake upon it, and I leave off as I began, that live or die, survive or perish, I am for the declaration. It is my living sentiment, and by the blessings of God it shall be my dying sentiment. Independence now and independence forever.
Amen.
How many politicians do we have to talk like that these days? So it's my pleasure to introduce Brenda Smith, the editor of the Weirs Times. And this guy should be working for the Babylon Bee. I think he's actually trying to. Every article he writes is like an application for the job at the Babylon Bee. So Brandon, come on up and.
I bet you won't believe it.
Wow, I didn't know I was going to be speaking today, but anyway, thanks, Hal. I just want to give you a quick history of the Weirs Times, because it's not me, I'm the editor right now, but back in, I don't know if any of you are familiar with FunSpot, Family Entertainment Center in the Weirs. Well, Bob Lawton, who started FunSpot in 1952 with his brother John, in 1992 decided that he wanted a newspaper that had more of a conservative slant, because he saw papers like the Union Leader were going the other way. So he resurfaced with a lot of difficulties in the beginning. I won't tell you that story. The Weirs Times. This is an original header from a Weirs Times publication that was called the Weirs Times, as it's called here. It's not under this, so I don't remember what it says, but Taurus Gazette, which was published weekly by a guy named Matthew Calvert back in the late 1800s, excuse me. But his thing about Bob Lawton, who started this paper, then it had a circulation of about 4,000 copies a week, distributed mostly around the Laconia area. Now we're up to about 28,000 to 30,000 copies a week distributed through the Lakes region and other parts of the state. Bob Lawton also, back in 1972, was a state representative, and he, along with another gentleman who I can't remember, got the bill passed in the House to have live free or die put on your license plate. So we give him credit for that. But today it's me and his son David. Dave was also a state rep who, the bill he got, one of the only ones he did get passed, was to have John Stark Day celebrated, which isn't a day off holiday, but it's still a holiday. And it's the last weekend in February, is it? I can't even remember. Or April. Right after, the week after they have Patriots Day down in Massachusetts. So the Weirs Times is dedicated to all the things that Paul was talking about, the things that the legislature tries to get passed in the conservative end to make this state better. We have conservative viewpoints, and we also try to, you know, guide people that way and to give them a point of view, which is we feel is being lost in New Hampshire. There really are no conservative newspapers that we can see that are giving this point of view. Everybody's following along the way. The thing we always laugh about is whenever there's a presidential election or in New Hampshire, the union leader on the election day will always have the Democratic candidate on the front page. So we try to get away from that. But anyway, one of the important things is we ask, if you pick this paper up, we want you to read it. We want you to get it, but we also want you to remember that we depend strictly on our advertisers in here who keep us, support us, and always do. So pick them up, use those advertisers, tell them you saw it in the Weirs Times, and I think that's important. And we just hope to keep going on in this crazy day. We don't know, you know, pretty much everything we publish in the paper now will probably be considered cancelable at some point in time. So we fight that battle, and we hope to keep this going, and we hope we keep it in the support of advertisers and people reading the paper, because we have an important message we believe that we have to keep out there. And I just ask you to support us, and we'll support you. Thank you.
Amen.